two-parter, how relevant or important are business school rankings, right? And what is Fuqua's current standing in the rankings, and what are we doing to address or improve our position?
So I thought that you were going to just ask me about rankings, in which I was going to say, I love the rankings because we just came out number 2 in U.S. News and World Report, but it wasn't for business schools; it was for Raleigh-Durham as a place to live. So this is actually a great thing to see, which is we have a school in a location that is one of the best places in the country. Now, to be more serious and answering your question, the rankings went on a little bit of a pause. So some rankings were not held in the past year. A couple were, and so we came out top 10 in the Financial Times. We came in just outside the top 10, which was heartbreaking in U.S. News, both heartbreaking and surprising, honestly. And so from the point of view of the rankings, we're top 10, but we're in the worst position in that top 10, which is we're one of the 10 schools that is in the bottom half of the top 10. And so there's kind of this churn where you really don't want to be caught up where you fall outside the top 10 as someone else churns into the top 10. And so it's a very, very dangerous place to be. And so we've seen that happen in this year with U.S. News. Business Week chose not to do any rankings this year. The Economist chose to do something which no one understood, and they didn't have schools participate in their rankings, so including us. If you ask the question, do rankings matter? Yes, they matter. People care about the rankings. Alumni care about the rankings. Prospective students care about the rankings. I'd say employers do not care so much about the rankings as long as they have a relationship with the school and they know the quality of the students that we have. But the rankings matter. They have over time begun to matter less for two reasons. One is there's a proliferation of these rankings so that you can't actually say we're whatever we are. We're number 5, we're number 4, we're number 7, because there's so many rankings that you could pick any number and just cherry pick your best ranking. And this is becoming confusing to prospective students. Like, well, what is the ranking? And so, the inconsistency has led to less confidence in those rankings. And that's the other thing, which is the rankings themselves have become very unstable. So even if you have the same organization ranking year on year, they're changing the rankings, and you're seeing enormous volatility on a year-to-year basis, which again reduces the overall confidence in the rankings. And so with that said, they still matter, but they become more confusing. From our point of view, we care about them. We want to be number 1. I mean, we don't just want to be top 10. We don't want to be top 5. We want to be the best business school. I've said that repeatedly. What we've had to do is make sure that we have key performance indicators that give us an indication, despite all the volatility and the weird things that people choose in their rankings, we want to pay attention to key market indicators. And so, for example, from my point of view, a market test of really how good are you as a business school is how selective are you. Selectivity, I mentioned before, is simply the number of offers of admission that you make divided by the number of applications that you have. And so we track this in the period of the pandemic. Pre-pandemic, we were the 8th most selective business school. And we moved up in the pandemic. We moved up to be the 7th most selective, passing the University of Chicago. And so, the 7 or 8, that doesn't seem wildly off in terms of where we might be in terms of some market-based ranking. Similar metric would be yield. So if you make an offer of admission, what fraction of people accept that offer? And so here, kind of the pre-pandemic, we were the business school with the 7th best yield among the top schools. And now we've moved up to be the 5th best in this dimension, and we passed MIT and Chicago. And so, those are good schools. We're competing in the right territory, and what our belief is that over time, that the kind of oddities of any ranking will eventually line up with these market metrics, which the market is telling us this is where we want to go. And then the second market metric that we think is incredibly important is students have to want to go to your programs, but then do people want to hire your students? Do they think that you're producing the best talent? And there, the news is really exceptional in terms of the companies definitely think that they can get the best talent coming out of Fuqua. So that's a long answer, which is to say we care, we want to do better, but at the end of the day, we will not do crazy things in response to a ranking which is idiosyncratic and kind of off track in terms of what we think is important to be relevant in preparing people to have the key capabilities in the world today. So the rankings are going to be an outcome of our strategy. The rankings themselves cannot be the strategy.